welcome to my first makes video in the new studio. It is so much fun to be filming in here and creating in here. I have been spending a lot of time in this space, both sewing and just sketching and getting a bunch of ideas out of my head. I feel very inspired when I'm in here. It's very fun to be in here, and I am so happy to be filming from here as well. Today I have my most recent finished knit project to show you. This is the Emma top from Paula Strickt. I think I first saw this pattern when Beth from Sew DIY made one, and she had made a color blocked one as well, which gave me the idea that it could be something that I could do with this sort of minty green cotton yarn that I had some left over from another project. And I checked and the gauge was great. And so I decided to give it a go. The stitch is mostly what is a brioche rib or a half brioche rib, which was not something that I was familiar with, but it creates these really beautiful lines down the front of the garment, and the spaces between the ribs are very deep and defined, which has a really cool modern look. I also liked the idea of doing something in cotton for like spring, summer, and I was a little nervous about it being like too warm, but it's cotton, so it's not. It's very breathable, very like light, and I was also nervous about the whole tank strap situation, but the pattern to me was pretty well written as a beginner. I didn't have too much difficulty following it. I do have to always remind myself that if you scroll to the bottom of the pattern, they have the descriptions of all the stitches, which are very helpful. Because sometimes I'm like, what does this mean? And then I remember, oh, it's right there. And I'm freaking out thinking that it's just a horrible pattern that's not written for beginners, when actually I just need to keep reading and not skimming so much. But I'm pretty happy with the way this turned out. Again, I am a beginner, so I did have some mishaps, as you will see in some video clips I'm about to show you. On the back particularly, there's these two lines where I miscounted my stitches somehow and shifted the rib pattern like one over, which doesn't look that bad. My husband actually thought it was intentional, but what does he know? It wasn't too bad of a mistake. And then somewhere down here, I had dropped some stitches, and when I picked them up, I am not advanced enough to know how to pick up stitches that I just picked them up in a way that made sense to me, which is just like a normal stockinette stitch or whatever it's called. So the pattern was lost is what I'm trying to say. But the overall look I think is great. I'm really proud of it. I love the length. It's more of a cropped length, which is great for summer. It has these little vents on the sides. And I found this yarn the yellow yarn at a local yarn shop actually. It's a bamboo cotton, I believe, and it is slightly smaller gauge, so I did have to size down on my needles for the yellow yarn, which I also asked Beth about, and she actually did the same thing with her tank, so that was very helpful. It looks great. I mean, the transition from one color to the other is pretty seamless, I think. And ironically enough, so this is knit from bottom to top, which was kind of hard for me because I only had so much of the mint left, and I wanted to make sure I had enough to do both sides the same. And I was kind of guessing by weighing the mint yarn and figuring out how much yarn overall the project needed, and then doing some weird subtracting and dividing and guessing as far as where I was gonna put this transition from the two colors. And I also kind of looked at the picture as well. So I should have made it higher. I didn't want the transition to be like going right across my boobs, but I ended up making the transition too low, which used too much yarn, and I had to order more of this color, which is funny because the whole purpose behind this was like a project that I could use up that color. And now I have about the same amount that I had left when I started. So, if you have any good scrap busting yarn is it called scrap busting when it's yarn? I don't know. If you have any good yarn scrap busting projects for cotton yarn, you can send them my way. I did have an extra whole skein of the yellow that I'm gonna see if I can exchange. I'm not sure if the shop will let me. I bought it quite a long time ago, but I will figure that out. In conclusion, I love this top. I literally finished knitting it last night and immediately wore it today, and I was like, this outfit is so cute. I'm gonna go ahead and take pictures of it and film the YouTube video. Look at me being so productive and not letting things sit around forever without getting photographed. Thank you so much for joining me here in the new studio today. I hope you liked this video. I think my next knitting project is going to be a very fun, colorful, fluffy cardigan. I like to try to switch back and forth, so I just worked with a really small yarn. Now I'm gonna work with a thicker yarn, which is kind of weird because we're going into summer, but cardigans I feel like are a great thing to have, especially when you live in like the heat, because everywhere you go is blasting the AC, but like you're wearing a cute summery outfit, but then you go inside and it's freezing. So it's nice to have cute cardigan to throw over it. So I think that's what I'm gonna make next. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below, have you started knitting yet? It takes a long time to finish knitting projects, but I really enjoy it. It gives me something to do with my hands when I'm watching TV or just sitting listening to my audiobook or something like that. So if you don't already subscribe, I am hoping to get back on the video production chain, so be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss any of my new videos. Thanks so much for coming here today. I will see you next time. Bye. Happy knitting. Wait, what do I say? Don't come here for professional knitting advice because I'm just learning as I go. If you have any good yarn busting? Sure.